Okay, good evening once again, everyone, and you're highly welcome. I want to use this opportunity to welcome our speaker, Mr. Tuchuku Ume. I know some of us here must have attended one or two presentations where we invited him, and I believe this presentation this evening, this seminar is going to help somebody, you know, to build their public speaking capacity. So we'll be welcoming Mr. Toshiku Ume to take over from me now. So Mr. Toshiku Ume is a learning and development officer with the International Committee of the Red Cross (ICRC) in Abuja, and is a highly human resource professional with over 5 years of comprehensive experience in talent development and management, data management, administration, and system support. I has skill in managing HR system and database, analyzing HR metrics, and maintaining employee records. Are well earned. He's also highly adept in payroll management with proven track record in reviewing status and levers, ensuring compliance with appraisal review timelines, and tracking training, code of conduct, and conflict of interest documents. He also possesses proficiency in data management with extensive experience in maintaining trackers of all recruitment and HR related activities, drafting reports and minutes taking. He has expertise in uh, HR functions and business objectives. He also has strong knowledge of Nigerians' employment laws and regulations. He has gained considerable experience in managing a filing system for HR information, including sensitive and confidential information. He has several experience in formulating, promoting, and implementing HR policies and procedures that are compliant with national legal requirements. Permit me and join me to welcome Mr. Tochukwu May to take over the floor. Mr. Tochukwu May, you're welcome, sir. You have the floor now, sir.
Thank you very much, Ayo. Thank you, everyone. Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here once again, and I do not take this privilege for granted. So I will crave your indulgence to bear with me the next couple of minutes. I totally understand today is Sunday, and we all have a lot of activities lined up for us to do. So we'll try as much as possible to finish within the hour, and it's going to be highly interactive. I totally encourage everyone on the call to feel free to engage, contribute, ask questions as the case may be. However, to ensure a proper flow of communication so we all can understand ourselves, I strongly recommend that if there are questions within the session, until maybe I pause to take them, please put the questions in the chat box so you don't forget them, or possibly write it down somewhere so when I prompt for questions, you can bring up the questions and all of us will look at it. I do not claim to know all the answers, but I totally rely on the expertise of everyone on the call to attend to every thing we've set our minds on. So if you would permit me, I want to share my screen to begin with so that you can easily see my screen. Let me know when you can see. I'm trying to present a window. Okay. Let me know when you can see my screen, please.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
you can see it now.
Oh,
I can
good.
see it.
Please, if at any point in time I am no longer audible, please do let me know. You can just prompt me as soon as you possibly can so that I will adjust quickly. Okay, so this lecture this evening is tagged Finding Comfort in Public Speaking. And this is specially designed for you, leadership and management in health participants of this particular course. So feel free to engage, because this is supposed to be for you and by you. So I'm just here majorly as a facilitator. I always tell friends and colleagues that I do not see myself as a trainer, but then I see myself as a facilitator. And as a facilitator, I set the tone for the conversations to happen. So like Ayo has mentioned, my name is Tochukwu Emeka Ome, and I'm an L&D professional. So today on the call, we'll try to understand few things. One is to understand what public speaking really is. Then we'll go into trying to understand why public speaking. Why is it important to us? What is the importance of public speaking in our sphere? And why do we even need to know about it? Then we will try to understand the public speaking anxiety. What it is it all about? Why does it happen? How does it happen? What are the symptoms? And then what can we do about it? Okay, so we'll acquire strategies on how to overcome public speaking anxiety, develop our effective communication skills to be able to manage and deal with public speaking opportunities. Then we'll try to also develop confidence building strategies. How can we improve our confidence to be very comfortable delivering public lectures, speeches, presentations, as the case may be? And then we'll share some practical tips that I believe would be very helpful to all of us as we continue our individual pursuits, careers, and all of that. Okay, so having said that as a background, I will go into the very first point, which is understanding public speaking. So public speaking, as the case may be, of delivering a speech to or presentation to a live audience. Just like I am engaging with you today, this could be one of those public speaking, opportunities. Okay, so this is public speaking in practicality. Okay, delivering speech or presentation to a live audience. Now, when you are doing something, maybe you record yourself on a video and post somewhere, well, that also could be public speaking, but the only difference here now that the audience you are engaging with at the time is not synchronous, it's possibly asynchronous. People get to engage with your content, much later, maybe not live, at that instant, they can't, engage with you actively, feedback, ask you questions on things they feel they do not understand. So, but then that's one major area of public speaking. Now, public speaking does not just start today. Basically, it has been there right back from history, the times of the Roman empires, all those oratory speeches. If you watch some of those movies in the past where, you see and you understand when they go to some of their functions, you see oratory skills at the highest display. So these things has been there way before now for very many reasons. Because of course, everybody have a thought pattern. Everybody have something in mind to share. But then the ability to communicate it, right? To let people know what you're thinking and how your thought pattern is, what you think is the best thing, or what you want them to know or do, right? So this has been there right from time. And even in most recent time now, we have the TED Talks. Most of you must have engaged or seen on YouTube or other video platforms. That's how people come with some topics of interest, to engage and discuss with the general public, try to either convince them, influence their behavior or attitude, pass some information, knowledge, or whatever the case may be. So we've seen this even in today's corporate world. We, for some of you that possibly are engaged in one corporate activity or the other, you most likely will encounter this almost every day, coming from meeting halls to maybe presentation of facts, presenting research findings, market surveys, even as little as presenting your objectives for the year. What do you want to do? How do you want to contribute to your department? These are all functions of public speaking, right? So in modern world today, in fact, to as little as our relationship with people, how you talk or engage with the family members, in your churches, in your mosques, in your schools, wherever you are, you engage with people in one way or the other, sometimes in a public space, and that brings us to public speaking. So it is everywhere in our modern world. Now, public speaking encompasses a wide range of activities. It does not just involve, until you are on the podium, face to face with a whole lot of people before you are engaged in public speaking. Okay, but then either in your office, like I tried to mention earlier, conducting seminars. For some of you that are maybe done your master's or other, depending on the school you are even going, maybe your diploma, degree, certificate. At some point, they invited you to do your project defense and all of those stuff. For some that maybe have not done it, you will possibly do it either at your master's level, degree level, or or the PhD level. You will definitely have to do a seminar to defend you're presenting something. You're talking to people in a live setting. And of course, you need to understand how best to engage with people in that kind of setting, right? And then leading meetings, like I tried to mention earlier, and then presenting findings. For some of you that are into monitoring and evaluation, you go to the field, you gather data, you analyze them, you find, connect the dots and find gaps and recommend what needs to be done. At the end of the day, people want to hear how can you translate what you have found out into a way that we can understand and influence us to take action on those things that you believe we should work on. So this and many more are areas where we see public speaking manifesting itself. Now, why is it important for us to engage in public speaking, or at least to be comfortable in public speaking? Sometimes somebody will say, for me, I'm a very shy person. I just want to get involved and all of those things. I mean, that's honorable, right? But in today's world, public speaking remains a vital skill across various fields and professions. In fact, if you don't know how to convey what you have in your mind, you probably will remain there, possibly without help, right? If you need something, nobody knows what you need. You want to convey things, you have beautiful ideas, wonderful innovations in your mind, but if you are not able to communicate it clearly so people to understand and act upon your information, then it's going to be a very big, issue for you, most likely. Now, public speaking, we see it in various fields. For example, in education, teachers and professors use public speaking to educate and inspire students. Most of us have been either teachers or students at some point in our life. And you could see that if, of course, for some of us that have been students, you've met some lecturers and you felt like, man, this guy, it's not just it. I don't like his presentation style, or I didn't understand, or he's not even audible enough, especially for some of us that went to public universities. You are seated somewhere in the middle of the hall, very big hall containing almost 200, 300 students, and one person to address the public without an addressing system, and you struggle to even hear what he's saying, let's at least understand what is going on in the class. But then you must be there because you want to take attendance, right? You can't just, step out of the lecture room, right? But then this is one of the areas where we see public speaking being implemented. Then in business, professionals present their ideas, their strategies, their reports to colleagues, stakeholders, their clients, their donors, whoever. You need to present your ideas your strategies. How do you intend to move the business? What have you done? What are you doing? What is working? What is not working? You want to present all of this so that your stakeholders can get a buy-in into what you're doing and continue to support or stand with you in that line of business. Then in politics, we all see when there is time for politics, the political campaign, the rallies, all of them addressing people. And sometimes I always tell people, if you really want to learn or master the act of public speaking, take times to listen to political debates, listen to politicians, canvassing for votes, and even most especially when they are on TV, speaking to the public or being interviewed in maybe on a particular session. Especially, I do follow this Politics Today on, I think it's TV, no, not TVC. I think it's, what do you call them? Is it the one done by
Channels.
Yes,
Channels.
thank you. Yes. So I normally follow it, and I love to sit and observe how the questions are meted, how these politicians dribble around the questions, how they avoid complicated questions that will put them into trouble, how they stylishly skim away from some things they don't want to talk about. Because, of course, the public speaking, like we mentioned earlier, is an art. You need to master that art. Because your speech does not mean you should say it anyhow. There are ways you present your ideas. So sometimes, even in politics, the wrong statement can mar a political career. Even though you are saying the right thing, how you say it matters. So in politics, we see leaders and politicians communicate their ideas, their policies, their intentions, their campaign rallies, all of those things. So this is one way of public speaking. If you observe them very closely, you will learn some more tips from what they do. Then in advocacy, advocates for one thing or the other to raise concern. Like recently, some years back in Nigeria, they bring back our girls campaign. I think is it Save Nigeria campaign.
Is it Channels or TVC?
It's Channels actually. Hello, can you hear me all?
Yes, we are with you, please. We are with you.
Thank you. So
yes, we can hear you.
We can see in terms of advocacy where people raise people for social to address one or two social issues, either even quite recently, for example, the issue of in Nigeria, the issue of labor strike. This advocacy effort trying to mobilize all the labor unions in Nigeria, all the labor employees in Nigeria to say, okay, down your tools, because we are trying to address a very critical social issue. So these are all areas where we see public speaking rear its face on us. And most importantly, for you guys in public health field, right, you mostly engage in community advocacies, try to go to communities to convince people, or maybe to do something or the other, what to do, what not to do, how not to do, how they should behave, how they should comport themselves. Even quite recently, when we had issues about COVID-19, how public health professionals all over the nation swung into action, trying to educate the least educated person in Nigeria on how to comport, on how to behave, and how to protect themselves, right? So this is one area where one of the major reasons why you, particularly the art of public speaking, right? And also, if you carry out some research like most of you do about endemic or pandemic issues in the country, of course, found out something, what government should do, what people should do, you need to present your research. You need to influence our policy, how we should behave, or how the kind of policies we should put up as a nation, as an individual, as a family, as a group, and all of those things. If you do not know how to present in public speaking, you may just be falling short, even though your work is very excellent. Even in presenting your research for students, for example, you have done research, you need to present your findings, you need to defend your project, all of this very short list, of course, I cannot exhaust. But like public speaking is an everyday activity that we must embrace, right? Despite all of this importance of public speaking, despite how beautiful, how wonderful it is, we all will agree that even though all of us communicate every day, not all of us have mastered the art of public speaking for various reasons. One of those very big reasons is public speaking anxiety. Many people are scared, of engaging in public. When they go to public speaking events, they give them the mic, and I mean they just for knowledge sakes. What is public speaking anxiety?
I try to capture here. It is also known as glossophobia, right? It is the fear or nervousness associated with speaking
in front of an audience. Not everybody is actually comfortable speaking to an audience, but if you must grow in your career to a global relevance, you must overcome this fear or nervousness. All of us may not be born with that boldness, but then public speaking is an art that can be learned and mastered. So do not allow this public speaking anxiety to hold you down. And that is why we are having this conversation, because it is not just enough to come to the public and talk. It is important to know how do you tone your voice? What do you say? How do you say it? What mannerisms do you display? How do you comport yourself? All these little bits put together form the acts that you need to master to be able to speak in the public. But not everybody have this, because some people suffer from this glossophobia, and this is why we are here. How does it present itself? What are some of the common symptoms we see? Mostly sweating, trembling, dry mouth. Have you ever been to public speaking? Although it's normal that when you are speaking in the public, after some time, your throat is dry and you want to wet it a little bit. However, for some people, it is very chronic. Very, very chronic. Like the saliva in their mouth dries up completely and they lose their voice instantly. It's just because they are trembling, they are afraid, right? Some people have rapid heartbeats. Have you ever walked into a hall where you're supposed to give a lecture or discuss or present an idea, and then you saw the caliber of people looking at you, and instantly your mind cuts? in our local parlance, your mind just cuts, liver fail, and there you are beginning to trying to put yourself together again, and before you know it, you're already at the center of the stage, and you've not been able to comport yourself well enough to even start the first sentence, right? So these are some of the areas where we see this anxiety creep up. Other times it's negative self-talk. This is mostly a psychological, symptom. Most of these symptoms I mentioned are physical symptoms, but something like negative self-talk is a psychological symptom for most people. You find yourself in a situation where you think you are not good enough. You think, oh, my boss is in this hall. I am not qualified enough to talk in this meeting. I shouldn't be the one saying things. Whereas you have the idea, you can sell your idea and sell yourself, but you are scared that, oh, what if I say it and I don't say it correctly? They will see me as I'm stupid. They will think I'm dumb. And this will impact everything. And you see people in that kind of situation, they just go mute. Instead of me to say rubbish in the public, I'd rather just keep quiet. After all, they say silence is golden, right? But in most situations, those kind of meetings you find yourself in, especially where you have the high and the mighty, is a place for you to exercise your God-given talent. Bring out the ideas you have. You never can tell which boss is going to see or hear what you say and be like, oh, wow, I'm impressed. And when an opportunity comes, they will be like, that guy that presented somewhere, I want that guy. I think I like him. Invite him over. Quite recently, someone very close to me told me that in their office, he normally volunteers for like an MC kind of thing whenever there's an event. He normally do volunteer. Okay, I want to be the MC if nobody is coming up. And he does it quite well. On one of those occasions, one of the top bosses was around, and it was just like a social event, and he did the regular MCing thing just to make sure that by MC, I mean master of ceremony, right? Just to make sure that the event, was going well. And after this speech that he delivered, of course, it's an official something that all of them in their office. And by Monday, the boss sent a memo. That is like the number one boss in that their unit sent a memo. I want to work with this guy. Transfer him to my department. Just like that. It could be an eye or a door opener for many people, just presenting your idea somewhere. But unfortunately, many people are not able to because they feel not worthy enough. What causes these kinds of things to happen to people? One of those causes are fear of judgment. So people are afraid, oh, they will judge me. They will think I'm not good enough. They will know that my knowledge is not even good enough. They will know that I am not what they thought I am. Or, those fear that people will judge you, people will criticize you, people will know your loophole or see that you are not very good enough. Many people are afraid. And that is why they will not even step up to the public and speak, even though that is the opportunity they need to open doors in their careers. Other times it's lack of experience. Because you've not been experienced speaking in the public, you are so scared that, oh, if I go now, I'll probably make mistake. No, I would rather not speak. I'll keep quiet. So you see people, instead of them to even hold the mic in a session and ask questions, they will rather write it on paper and pass it through to the usher and pass the questions forward, just because they are so scared of speaking in public. They don't have experience how to talk in public. Even looking at people in the eye is a major concern for some people. While for some others, negative past experience could be the reasons why they normally encounter this glossophobia. Okay, so these negative past experiences where people feel like, okay, no, I have spoken in the public before, it didn't go well, I had a very terrible backlash, me very badly. I mean, one or two bad experiences does not mean you should not do it again. We heard of the man that invented the electric bulb, whether true or false, I cannot justify this, but if the information we heard was true, that he tried about 99 times before he was able to invent the electric bulb, right? So if he didn't try severally without giving up, probably we wouldn't be here with electricity or using the electric bulb today, right? So because you had a very bad experience in the past does not mean you should get stuck in the past. If you are one of those people, never to worry. That is why we are having this conversation today. And the beautiful thing here is you are not alone. What we have is that about 74% of the population, that's of people all over the world, not just you, frequently experience nervousness when speaking in public. So you are not alone. About 74% of the world population are nervous speaking in the public, right? So don't feel alone. However, you don't need to be part of that number. In fact, our plan is, and that is what we are doing today, to pull you out of this number. Maybe by the end of this lecture, we would have reduced this number by 71 to 71 or maybe to 70%. But I'm sure we are not up to 3% of the world population, but just being optimistic that many more people like you will embrace, the tips we're going to share and some of the strategies we're going to be sharing to improve on their public speaking abilities and stop being nervous when speaking comes. Now, what are some of the strategies that we can employ to overcome this public speaking anxiety? One is preparation. You can never prepare enough. By preparation, I'm talking about you should know your material. What are you presenting on? Sometimes people take on challenges that are not appropriate to their capacities. Now, knowing your material is one thing, but then being in charge of the material is another thing. If you're a lecture note or something to present, of course, if it is not your ideation, you should sit down and study it critically. What does it mean? What does this mean? The reason why you need to study extensively about your material is not just because you are presenting facts to people or you want to present it well, But because you are a master in that area of field that you are presenting on, and of course, boy oh boy, people will ask you different kinds of questions. You don't want to be caught off guard. So you need to know your material. Is it a technical document? Is it something like, preferably, it is best that you speak on a topic you are very passionate about, something very dear to your heart, right? Something you are experienced in, something you have experienced personally in your life, or something you do regularly. You have several areas of expertise in that area. For example, for me, public speaking, I've been doing for many years, and I think I've mastered it to a very good point of comfort. Now, I know that there is very little questions that will rise around, the subject matter of public speaking that will take me off guard. Okay, so you need to master your material, know it like the back of your hands, right? Go extra mile. Like one mistake some people do when you're being given a topic to present, you just restrict yourself to the material you've been given, study only that material, and then go and present. Most times they ask you questions outside of that material. And that is why you see some of our lecturers in school, especially for us that went to public schools, when you ask them some very critical questions, they will tell you, I give it to you as assignment, go and do it. Because they don't know. They just did garbage in, garbage out. The material they were given, they just took the same material, no extra research, nothing, no background, no extensive study. They just come to class hoping that all of us are thinking just in the same line. And if there is someone that has an inquisitive mindset and asks some critical questions, they turn it into an assignment for the entire class. Some of them even turn it into a test. Tear a sheet of paper. Oh yeah, start writing, answer it as test question. Just because they don't know it and they have to find a way to get out of that situation. That should not be you, right? You need to master your material. Then again, you need to know your audience. Who are they? What are their interests? Why do they come there? Why are they there? Why are they listening to you? Now, especially when you are talking to adult audience, you must understand that adults learn when they have the need to learn. For example, all of you here are adults. Today is a Sunday that you should be resting or maybe engaged in other extracurricular activity that makes your life worthwhile. But you left everything and you are here. It is because you're looking for something. There is something important you are pursuing. And this time is very precious to you. You will not be here if it is not important to you. Now imagine you are here and I'm saying something totally unrelated, something not relevant to you. How will you feel? You feel that your time has been wasted. So you need to know your audience. What do they want? What are they looking for? Why are they listening to you? And craft carefully your material. Tailor your material to meet the needs of these audience that you're going to be talking to. Then again, you must organize your thoughts. What is going to be the flow of your thoughts? How do you start? How do you end? What examples do you bring in? Visualize it in your mind already. Prepare all these things in your mind, all the scenarios. What do I say? How do I say it? What language do I use? How long will I present? What examples will I use? What should I say? How should I say it? How loud should my voice be? What should I dress in? Organize your thoughts. Everything that goes into that public speaking, you need to prepare from beginning to end. And it is often said that a presentation of 30 minutes, people spend months upon months practicing for it. Just a small chance. If you miss it, you may never get it very quickly. So you need to prepare. The ball game is preparation. Proper preparation prevents, failure, right? So properly practice strategies. Why do you need to practice? You need to rehearse regularly. What is it you're presenting on? This even goes up to things like interviews, for example. When you have invited for an interview, sometimes I wonder when I'm in an interview hall and people come in and the way they talk, you wonder, okay, did you just wake up from sleep suddenly and then find yourself in this place? Didn't you know you were coming for an interview? People don't prepare. People don't plan. People don't practice. The first real interview I remember I had in my life, I practiced. I was invited like a week before the interview date. Oh my God, I practiced. I practiced. I read a lot of interview questions. I answered them. I rehearsed them because I don't know which questions will come out. So you need to regularly rehearse your points. Don't assume that you know it. Because one thing is a very thin line between knowing it and overconfidence. Don't assume that you know it. If possible, record yourself so that you can give yourself, appraise yourself. Stand in front of the mirror, watch yourself present to yourself. Ask yourself, this presentation, is it of the quality of where I'm going? Will I be very proud of myself presenting this the way it is? Other times even get friends or mentors or relatives, family members to watch you present the idea. If you have a family of like-minded people, oh guys, I have a presentation, I have an interview, I want you guys to give me a mock experience. I want you guys to be my audience. Let me present my ideas, and you people will ask me questions and tell me how I did. Okay, engage in those kind of situations. Let people give you feedback. Let them listen to you talk. Let them appraise your mannerisms, your body movement, and all of those things. And at the end of the day, they will tell you, oh, I think you did well in this area. I think this area I didn't do so well. Adjust this, adjust that. Do you need to talk about this? In fact, I remember one of this current job I'm holding, when I was invited for the position, I prepared, and I thought I prepared well to my capacity. However, I was lucky that my mentor, was free, and I contacted him, sir, I want you to run a mock interview for me. Let me see so that I can gauge my level of preparation. So he said, okay, fine. And during our preparation, boy, oh boy, I thought I prepared. The man was just picking holes. Oh no, you didn't say this like this. This didn't come out well. This didn't do well. You should add this to your preparation. You should do this. You should do that. And by the time we had about 2 hours mock for an interview that lasted only 15 or I think 20 or 30 minutes. The entire interview lasted about 20 or 30 minutes, but we had 2 hours deliberately, rehearsing, adjusting, correcting, and all of those things. By the time he grilled me for 2 hours, is now you are ready for your interview. And indeed, I got the job. Right? I'm not saying there is a factor of the God factor there, but the factor of preparation and practice is very, very key. Don't take these things, with laxity. Then again, relaxation methods. Never you get into a presentation when you are tensed, because if you are tensed, sometimes, yes, it's normal that you come into the hall and maybe you meet some very unfriendly faces. Maybe you even meet people that are very, very top in your organization, and then you get swept off your feet. At that point in time, this is where you need to practice relaxation method. Come back to your real self, like tell yourself, yes, it is me standing in front of these people. And at this point in time, I am the master and they are the audience. I am the specialist, I am the orator, and they have to listen to me. So at that point, own it. Be mindful, like come back to yourself. Don't allow yourself to be swayed away by, oh, this caliber of people are listening to me. Oh, they are not even smiling. They are looking so serious. Their faces are scary. Man, sometimes when I face audiences that are very scary, there is a trick I learned. I look at them above their head level here, like they think you are looking at their eyes, but my eyes is actually on their forehead. So I don't look at their eyes. I don't care what their eyes is looking or where they are looking. I'm looking at their forehead. And for them, they will be able to still maintain contact with my eye, thinking that I am looking straight into their eyes. And if you can master the skill of looking into people's eyes while talking to them, you will realize that suddenly you will have power in that conversation. Because most times, in my local parlance, they say "anya diojo," right? That means the eye is scared or afraid. So most people would not be able to gaze into your eye for too long. And if you are bold enough to look into their face and look into their eyes, they will know that you are bold, and suddenly they will lose their guard and they will not attack you too much, even if they wanted to. So try as much as possible to come back, breathe slowly, deep breath, breathe in, breathe out, as many times as you can, slowly but steadily. Hello, are we together?
Yes, we are with you.
Okay. So slowly but steadily, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. If you can breathe in, for example, and count one to three, then breathe out slowly, counting 1 to 3 as you're breathing out. It helps you to come back to yourself, to be relaxed, let the tension easily flow away so that you can take your audience. Other things you can also do when you get tense suddenly is to start your discussion or your presentation or your public speaking with something very unrelated, like what we call an icebreaker. Start with something that will put everybody off guard a little bit, not really what you're talking about, but just for us to smile a little, laugh a little. You could just start with a very polite joke, something very unusual that will relax the tension in the room. Sometimes people will be like, "Oh, who is this guy that is coming? What is this coming to come and say?" And their faces are very mean. But when you come and say, "Oh, Nigeria is like this, and I'm just coming from here, and this just happened. Oh my God, can you imagine? Oh, look at you guys, you're looking wonderful, beautiful. Oh, please clap for yourselves." And at that point, you've taken everyone off guard. These are icebreakers. While they are doing that, you are practicing your mindfulness and relaxation method so that you can come back to yourself. And by that time they've done that, they've all eased off. And then you take charge of your stage. Then another thing you must know is know your fear. Okay? So what exactly are you afraid of? What scares you? You need to identify your fear, because if you don't know it, you can't conquer it. What are you scared of? Are you scared that what's the worst that can happen? I mean, if you don't present well, will you lose your job? Will you lose your life? And all of those things. What exactly is the fear? You need to identify it. And when you identify it, ask yourself some critical questions and find answers to them. What is the worst that can happen? How can this fear, limit me? What can I do to overcome these fears? Find answers to those questions, right? And when you do, challenge that fear. Like this icon I used here, this is a dragon. Dragon could mean something very scary, but you can see people playing with the dragon now, okay? Holding up the dragon in their stick and using it to play. Now you have managed to turn your fear into your advantage, right? So challenge your fear. Don't allow it to limit you, but challenge it. Ask yourself, push yourself to the extreme. Don't allow yourself to be limited by that fear. Now, having spoken about some of these strategies to overcome public speaking anxiety, we want to dive into a little bit now to effective communication skills. Now you're no longer anxious. You've been able to take some questions on some of these issues we've already discussed. Thank you very much. If there are any questions, I'm available.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate for accepting our request.
Yes.
So please, if you have any question, could you please raise your digital end so that we can call you very quickly? We have 9 minutes more. Any question, please? Hello? Can you hear me?
Hi.
Okay. Any question? I believe.
I think no question for now, since it's like it's clear. Thank you,
Oh,
sir.
okay. So okay, Mercy Okon.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma.
Thank you, Mr. Chuk, the presenter, please. I really appreciate, though I came in late. Please, my question, I'll go straight to the point. It's a personal thing. I don't know whether it falls under fear or where does it falls under. I have this challenge of each time maybe I'm talking in a crowd or presenting or talking to a group of people, maybe after a lot of preparation, rehearsing, immediately I start talking. I'll be teary and my voice will diminish. So I don't know how to overcome that fear. I don't know how to overcome that, please. That's my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mercy Okon. So when you are presenting in the public, I hear you say you become teary and then your voice cuts, like you are not longer able to vocalize your thoughts or ideas. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so generally, like I presented earlier, you are not alone. About 74% of the world population face similar things. So this is one of the areas where glossophobia is coming up, into your public speaking skills or abilities. So all I encourage you to do is, first and foremost, you need to understand why is it when you are presenting, because sometimes when you are presenting, depends on the room. If the AC, for example, is facing you directly, this is one area I've personally observed that can cause you to have a teary eye and suddenly your throat dries up almost instantly. So be sure that it is not because of maybe the room setting, the AC, or the lighting that is too much to your eyes. So if these are not the factors, that these factors are things that happen even though you have been in different rooms at different times, then it means that this is one area you need to identify for yourself and begin to practice against it. Most importantly, I recommend that you begin public speaking from a smaller group. For example, if you are a Christian, maybe in your church, volunteer to be in the maybe children department. Talk to children that will not be judgmental, right? Present whatever Sunday school lessons for children. They won't judge you. These children will be very free to engage and gradually, so that you can stand, talk, and observe. When you are with people who you are not worried that will be judging you, does this happen to you? And if it doesn't, then it means it is the category of people, maybe the environment you find yourself. So gradually begin to build your skill using a less judgmental or less serious setting. Gradually master your skill of public speaking, engage a little bit more, gradually increase the kind of places where you present your ideas, and if possible, get get someone that can train you a little bit. Engage in trainings if you must, right? It's also good to engage like you're doing today, to learn 1 or 2 tips. What more can I do to ensure that I present my ideas? It's also nothing wrong. For example, since your throat gets dried, you want to present, one of the things you can do is grab a glass of water, keep it around you, okay? Occasionally, excuse yourself and take water. There is nothing wrong with it, but don't do it too frequently, right? Maybe if you're going to be presenting for 40 minutes, for 1 hour, find a way to, within that period, at least you drink water maybe twice, if need be. Okay, so grab a bottle of water or a glass of water, keep it close to you, and when your voice is getting dried, you take a sip and then wet your throat and continue. Nothing is totally wrong with that, okay? So gradual practice and then find strategies that help you cope. I hope that clarifies your question. Welcome.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. I believe we can extend another thing to the second session, which I'll be communicating to the group very soon by the time our presenter is certain of the dates, because we are going to use his own dates now. Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate you for accepting our invitation. We so much, appreciate your sparing your time to come and educate us on public speaking, and we are looking forward to the second session, and we believe that there will be more questions by the time you are through with the session. Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate you, and
thank you for having me once again.
Wish you.
And it's a privilege to meet everyone. Maybe if some people can put their videos, let's see their faces.
Okay, please, can you put on your video? Let's see your beautiful faces.
If you can, please. But if you're in a position where you cannot. Thank you, Mercy. I can see Mercy. Who else is putting the video on?
Thank you, Mr. Tochuku. I appreciate your.
Yeah, Mr. Clement, thank you very much. At least I've seen 2 new faces that I will remember. Mr. Arkila, your picture is very bright and clear, as well as the others. But of course, I hope we get to see sometime, some other day, somewhere around the world, if not in Nigeria. Yeah, thank you, and everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank you, sir. Do have a wonderful
Thank you.
evening, sir.
Have a wonderful
Thank you.
evening, sir.
Thank you,
you.
sir. Thank you very much.